Well, if there's an industry that makes more news than politics, it's the entertainment industry. And Kenyan filmmakers, entertainment and creatives are at loggerheads with the country's Film Association for proposing a bill curtailing production and display of work of arts. Now, activists on social media have said the bill will control creativity by changing how they will choose to tell their stories. While social media in the country yesterday was awash with rhetoric of how one cannot regulate art and culture, a clause in the bill stated that it is meant to prevent content that are not reflective of national values and aspirations of the people of Kenya.
Kenya's film industry has produced award-winning Hollywood actors like Lupita Nyong'o and Eddie Gadegi, while a myriad of other Hollywood blockbusters have also been shot in the country. Filming in the country is listed by the tourism ministry in the country as a major asset with long-standing relations with top production houses across the globe since the 1930s.
Mwende Ngao, who is a filmmaker and a blogger in the country and also part of the campaign against the bill. Good morning, Mwende. What exactly are your concerns with this proposed bill?
We had expected as a film community that the bill would be a forward-thinking bill, because the community has been lobbying for a film bill for a couple of years, because the Film and Stage Plays Act that is currently in place is quite old-fashioned, because it's with the same act we've had from independence. Actually, just before independence, we've had the same one, which makes no sense, right? So we thought that the new film bill would be going forward and really trying to think in terms of expanding what is possible for filmmakers, because the film industry in Kenya has really been struggling. Just so many obstacles in the way of filmmakers, all the way from production to distribution. And so we thought having good policy would change that. But what is happening is that the new bill has quite a lot of alterations. That, first of all, it adds publishing to fall under the Kenya Film Classification Board, which really makes no sense, because what does it have to do with film? And so when you think of what is publishing, you're thinking books. You're also thinking about online publishing. So bloggers are also under that. And so you start to wonder, what does the Kenya Film Classification have to do with publishing?
On a personal level, Mwende, do you think this will curtail the artistic freedom of expression in the country?
Yes, definitely, because unfortunately, what we've seen for a couple of months now, and we've been talking about this, a lot of activists have been talking about this, is the current CEO of the Kenya Film Classification Board has been slowly but surely overstepping his mandate. And so you find first he's talking about maybe the internet needs to be controlled and things like, we need to take care of our children, which is true. We do need to take care of our children. We don't need our children to be exposed to materials that they don't need to be exposed to. But it feels like it's a cover for what honestly can just be called censorship, because then he starts to talk about things like, we need to have national values, and we need to make sure that we don't have content that is against our national values, national and moral values. And so you start to wonder, whose national values? Because what are our national values and what are our moral values? And so you find that it's one individual that is using his will to sort of put in measures of what he would want content to be like. So which is sort of going backwards when you think about where we've come from in terms of censorship. So when we start to see that the bill has been changed, the parts that are being changed are really giving the chief executive officer, yes, the CEO of the KFCB, so many powers, where it's the chief executive officer is supposed to sign off on what films are going to get a license. And so for me, it becomes like, are we saying that only one individual is going to be deciding what is being created in the Kenyan space?
Now, Mwende, creatives are meeting today in Nairobi over the same bill. What will be the next move after that?
We're going to obviously meet and discuss what's in the bill. But more importantly, I think one of the things that we learned from our friends who are in the ICT fraternity, when they also had a bill that they is really that we have to be very organized in the same way that they are, and also be able to take measures, like solid measures, because it's one thing to tweet, because the tweeting is good because it gets people aware. And the more people are aware, the more we are able to come together to now plot a way forward. But what is important at this juncture is to figure out how far this bill has gone, what stage it's in, so that you can be able to know if we need to start writing letters, if we need to get lawyers involved, and to get the advice to know how far we need to fight it. Because clearly, we can't just fight it from, making noise online. Like, we have to actually be very involved. It also means that some of us have to start talking to our lawmakers. We have talked to a few to also tell us what their position is on this and to lobby against this bill. Because, again, if it starts going to the floor, who is going to be, voting? So we have to be very, proactive in terms of that.
Thank you very much, Mwende, for joining us on the morning call. Social media in Kenya has really contributed